Yeah.
I'm already doing something wrong.
No, no. Okay, you can hear me?
I can hear you fine now.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't do it without the headphones. I don't know what happened. And I like to have, well, I guess I could just still use my hands.
Yeah, you look great. You look great. You look great.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
So let's talk, let's get right into it. Let's talk about it.
definitely.
We'll do something a little different today. You can introduce yourself to the guest.
Definitely.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all love and support. My name is the Black Sinatra, Omar Wilson. I'm a singer, songwriter, and true live performer. And I'm just ready to give my soul to the world and show the people that all the hard work that I've been putting in to make sure that I make a real big impact on the R&B community and be at the forefront of bringing R&B music back to where it is. R&B music is back, y'all.
It's here.
I'm here to make it happen.
Is here. So I've been following you for some years.
Wow.
Now, I remember you performed in, I think it was in New Haven, Connecticut.
Wow.
Yeah, like a while ago.
Wow.
And then I seen you perform, and my good brother and friend June Archer, one of his, the 100 Black Men Awards that he does. Yeah.
Correct.
And I said, wow, that's him.
Wow.
I was like, that's him. I remember.
Yeah, I've been knowing June Archer for forever. Like, I remember June Archer is one of the cats that started the bar with No Name. And showcases back then. This is like early 2000s. And at that time, I was rapping. I was in a rap group. And we would go to Hartford, I think it was every Tuesday, Wednesday, just to be a part of that showcase. And salute to that brother, because he was one of the people that brought together the community of music and gave them a platform to really learn how to hone their skills when it comes to a crowd and the stage. So,
I mean, think about it. He's the creator of Behind the Unsigned. So, there had to be some passion for artists there. He's been definitely a very good brother of mine over the years. When I had first started, I reached out to him. We had networked on, on social media, on Twitter. And then somehow we started talking on the phone and networking. And he was just available. He was just like, if you need me, sis, I'm here. You got any questions? You want to do events? I'll be here to give you that advice and show you how. And that was well over 10 years ago. Well, and he spoke at one of my events. So he's a big brother. Yeah.
Well, everybody needs someone to help them get their stepping stones up the ladder. You know what I mean? So
right. So you're from Norwalk.
I'm from Norwalk originally.
Right. And when I was doing my research, I said he started at 6. Was it earlier than that, or you really started at 6?
No, well, my mom, when I was a kid, they wanted to give me Ritalin. I had like the ADHD thing going on. It was even rougher back then dealing with it.
Right.
So they wanted to like give me medicine to calm me down, and my mom put me in the choir. And at 6 years old, she put me in the choir. And about 6 months after that, I sung my first solo, and it was "Running Back to You" by Commission. And I'll never forget singing that song. 6 years old, about to turn 7, and by the time I got through the 7th bar, the whole congregation was crying, and I thought I was doing something wrong.
Wow!
Once it was explained to me that this is what music does to people when the intent is honest and sincere, it's been on ever since. You know what I mean?
That is so amazing. I know that you do a lot of performing. So how has this impacted you since, now that we're in the COVID?
Well, it's crazy because I just had a couple records. I had a record called The Groove, dance record, The One, and like 3 other records that were going to #1 all over the world. Shout out to everybody all over the world. Thank you still. So I was in the process. I believe like the week they started talking about something was going on in China. I was scheduled to go to Japan for like 3 weeks to perform. And
wow.
Like that 3rd week when it really started getting crazy, that's when it was like, you know what, we're gonna shut it down. And so it's been because my whole journey has been a climb. So it was like a familiar bump in the road, like
Mm-hmm.
like dang, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, there's been things that I have accomplished and I've been able to do during this pandemic that if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have been able to have the opportunity. And I believe even my relationship with the people has grown different because everybody had to stop doing what they're normally doing that blocks their life out
Mm-hmm.
and focus on certain things. So it's been you know, it's been a I guess it's been up and down for me, but you know what I'm saying?
One of those bittersweet things, right? It's kind of
That's the word I
like,
was looking for. Bittersweet,
yeah,
exactly.
I got it.
Exactly.
I got the word.
Right. Thank you. You need a translator every now and again. I
Right,
appreciate
exactly.
it.
I'm probably gonna need you, you know what I mean, to come
Hey
in
man,
and fill
hey,
in for me.
that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Yeah, for me it was a definitely it was a shocker. Um I went to Kansas and did and co-hosted an event with Hot Boy Turk
Okay.
for CX1 DJs, and that was fun because I said, let me try this hosting thing and see what that's all about.
Right.
And then I visited my family in Cleveland, and then I was in California for Oscar weekend. These are the only 3 trips I have
Oh,
taken this
dope.
year,
Dope.
right?
Dope. Yeah, I missed that.
And then I don't know, and then all of a sudden it was just over. Like I had all of these events that was planned for the year and weeks and stuff, and then something happened along the way where it said, you know what? It's time to just take a break.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's time to refocus and get your inner self together because I'm preparing you for something even bigger than what you thought was going to
Correct.
happen. So I
Correct.
think a lot of times it depends on our perception and how we look at things. Let me tell you, to be honest, I mean, like for maybe that first couple of days, I was like really upset. Like, man, it's really like canceling one by one in the emails.
Well, trust
And
me.
then I start thinking like, whew, this is nice.
Right. Right. I mean, the only downfall for me is I missed out on a lot of bread. You know what I mean? But it will
What
come back. It will
you
come
have
back
no
around.
idea what's on the way though.
Agreed. 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 And I think, like I said, through my personal journey, there's always been hiccups like this. So, you know, you got to kind of learn how to deal with it and use it to your advantage, not let it stagnate you and keep, and like you said, make you sad and start thinking about stuff. So once it happened, it was like, okay, you know, what do I need to do from refining my body and getting it even in better shape? You know what I'm saying?
I did the opposite.
Well, you know, I got to be upfront people. It's part of my job. I ain't got no choice.
I
You know
said you was
what
working out. I looked on your page. I said he's working out. I want that type of motivation. I love the gym. I'm a gym addict. I've been working out since I was a teenager. But during this time, I just haven't felt so much to do that. I really just wanted to. For me, this is my experience. I just wanted to just breathe for a second. Maybe I've been moving too much. Maybe I've been doing too many things. Maybe there's some people in my life that need my attention right now. Maybe God needs my attention. That's because I do believe in a higher, you know, the higher power.
Better.
So we sometimes have to switch when we have those negative emotions, feel them, and then release them and say, what are you trying to teach me here? You know what I mean? I'm trusting you because I know that, I mean, up until this point, he's taken care of me and you and everyone that's on here this far. We're alive. So for that.
Trust and believe it. Trust and believe it. And you know what? I think like that one of the things that it has done is for people that have never prayed before, wasn't even thinking about a high power, could care less, just moving, shaking, to the people like yourself and myself that do got a love for God and understanding, and it just raised that heightened sensitivity for what really and who really is in control.
Be some survivors, exactly. But I don't want to just survive though.
Nah. Well, it's crazy because one of the first records that I was known for in New York City, because I ran all the showcase market out in New York. And I had a song called Mr. Survival, you know what I'm saying? And that, I think that attached itself with everybody because whether you got $2 or you got 200 million, you still try to survive to keep it moving.
Exactly.
But like you said, it's about, for me, and what I have done is mastering the survival technique and then now striving for greatness. for financial
Exactly.
stability and for all the amenities that come with working as hard as you can to maximize the potential of who you are. You know what I mean? So what you said is right. You know, you start off, get your groundwork right, and then time to excel and exceed.
I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
And so I lived in a um, poverty-stricken neighborhood, so to speak. So when I come against things like this, I feel like up until this point in my life, all of those things, you know, taught me and gave me the strength that I needed in this season. You know how
Right.
sometimes like when we're going through things, we don't really understand like what is going on. We don't see it right then, but then later on you're like, oh, because
Right.
everybody isn't thriving during these times. So that's why I started doing these conversations. I would have probably, honestly, I don't know if I would have had the time to do these conversations.
Right, right, and you don't understand how many connections you're making. Once again, it's all a recalibration of life, and trust and believe. Like, you know, in my mind, in my grind, it's been not to make it as equal to somebody losing. You know, it's one of their loved one, but it's been a
Yeah.
pandemic my whole life. You know what I'm saying?
And
It's
that's
been
my point.
it's been a grind
Exactly.
forever. So like this, you know, other than being able to move around and wearing masks, it's been normal protocol for me. I've been in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? So once again, that's what comes with mastering survival. Like that's why I think it's such a shock to some people. You see people doing crazy things. You know, have
Yeah.
money, lost little bread, do something crazy. But
Yep.
when you're used to going through the motions, you know, life is a roller coaster anyway. So just got to take it for what it is and squeeze the best out the lemon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Make a
absolutely.
lemonade type thing.
Make a lemonade.
Real.
Lemons. Yeah. I also think too that at this time a lot of people were able to escape their whatever situations they may
Correct.
have been in themselves, the partner that they're with. They were able to go to the bars, they were able to go to the clubs, and people don't even
Right.
realize that these places can sometimes be an escape where you don't get to sit with yourself and your feelings and your
Agreed.
emotions.
Agreed.
I was on Facebook one day and I said, I got to get off of here and make sure that my home is good, make sure that I'm good before I can even talk to the people and tell them about that. You know, I want to also show people that there are some amazing creative people that are creating during this time of crisis. I think that you should create during this
Right.
time. I
That's
think
what I
that you
have been doing.
should, you know
That's
what
what I've been
I
doing.
mean? Like learning how to master your mind and be okay with controlling the present if you can, and those things that you can't control, just releasing those things and just letting it do what it needs to do.
Correct.
You know what I mean? What was the inspiration behind the song The Groove? What's the
The
groove?
groove was I went to Chicago for a press run for about a
Uh-huh.
week. And I was able to go to different clubs and deal with some program directors and DJs, and just the vibe of Chicago, the food, the people, the way they moved. And then before we left, a couple DJs was like, you know, no one's doing two-step records again. I'm like, what do you mean? And the two-step record thing wasn't my forte, so to speak. But you know, when I hear music that's alive or I get a concept, I work hard to be able to fuse myself into it to make it feel like, and when it comes across, like, damn, that's all he do is that. When it's an extension of, you know, the talent that I've been blessed to have. So boom. So when we came back from Chicago, shout out to my label BSE, my big homie Lou Humphreys and Jazz Joyner. They're the production team, and like 2 days after, they just created a record. And was like, you know what, we need a two-step record. Okay, the reason why we went to Chicago, I have another record called the One, and the One has kind of a two-steppy feel to it,
Uh-huh.
which made the Midwest attach itself to it, and that's why I went down to do the
We
record.
definitely love those two steps.
And I'm still learning. I'm still growing as well, as you know, as a musician and a songwriter. So I was like, okay, and it's a demographic that no one's really tapping into, and if they are, I haven't really heard about it. So when we came back, it was like, you know what, let's do a real record in that vein. And I was like, all right, cool. You know, I'll write whatever, because you know I write the majority of
Yeah,
the
I see
record.
that.
And they created the track. We actually went to the studio that day, because sometimes they'll send me tracks and I'll just pen it by myself. But in that case, we wanted to do it together, and I'm glad we did, because the collaborative effort, you know, made it what the record is. And once the people heard it, it was like, you know what, this is like what the homeboy R used to do, but we can't really rock with him ever again. So that vibe was in limbo, and it's a blessing to hear it from a fresh perspective. But it feels like I've already heard it.
And
So
it's
it's
right
definitely a
there.
blessing. And make
Yeah,
sure
it's
everybody go
like,
out there and grab that groove. Yeah, grab the groove, man. It's on all social platforms, all streaming platforms. And it is, no matter of fact, it is not one of the records on my current album, Living Legend. It was an extension of just the inspiration that happened. So please, everybody, go grab that groove.
the Living Legend album. I love the titles of the songs. I was putting them under I was like, I'm going to spam the heck out of him. So I tried not to, like, you know, tag it into all this stuff, because I could go crazy with
No,
PR
please, go crazy.
Oh, okay.
Everybody out there, go crazy when it comes to Omar Wilson, the Black Sinatra.
Because
go crazy. They love it.
When I got the opportunity to work with Tyrese for his last album, Black Rose.
Okay, dope.
Let me tell you, I got used to the fact of being around the clock literally and just going on social media. How do you think, like, today's date, since you've been doing music for a while, how do you think social media has impacted music?
I think it's been a great impactful situation, because it's the reach. It's the reach. You know, it allows you to touch a demographic of people that you definitely wouldn't even torn in certain instances, because there might be a person that doesn't even particularly like what you do, but when they see it, you know, seeing is believing. When they can see it and interact with it, that might turn their opinion of, you know, what you bring to the table. So I mean, look what we're doing right now. I mean, we wouldn't be able to call each other, but no one will be able to see it, and seeing it is what keeps people, you know, engaged. So I think it's been the most phenomenal piece of equipment for us to interact, connect, and show each other how the same we are, no matter where you come from across this world. And the fact that music is the ultimate language barrier destroyer, because you could not even speak the language, but you can feel the vibe.
Exactly. The vibe speaks before anything else in the room. The frequency, all of that speaks before you even hear anything. Wow, that's amazing. What about the song, The One?
Oh, the one. The One. The One is a love song. And when the production team sent me, okay, first we talked about we wanted to do a Marvin Gaye type track. I was like, okay. So they sent me the track, and if you hear the track, it kind of has a spin of like Liberian Girl from Michael Jackson, but it also has a little Marvin Gaye intonations in it. And they was like, yo, listen to Marvin Gaye's I want you and I want you to want me to.
Oh,
So when I
that's so
listened to
dope.
that's the reason why I started the song saying I want you, you know, but from my own
No, you can feel it.
right.
Yeah.
But it was that vibe that helped me kind of dictate the movement. And I mean, that's what it should be. I mean, who better to learn from than the legendary legends of R&B and soul music, the individuals that it doesn't matter how so-called old the records are, when you hear it, you are automatically connected and drenched in the vibe. And that's always been amazing to me. Like, no matter how long or when the record was written, you feel like it's brand new. And that was always my objective. That's why I named my album Living Legend. That's why when I do records, I make sure I'm working hard to make music that will stand the test of time and live forever. Because that way I'm immortal. You know
Timeless. Timeless. I think the best music is the music where I can it can take me to a place. I can travel.
Correct.
You know, and it's so
Correct.
funny. Where did the Black Sinatra come from? Soon as I heard that, you know who I thought about?
Who's that?
Frank Sinatra. I love
Wow.
him. I
Wow.
absolutely love him. Like he has this
That's
one
why.
song, I think is, I don't know the exact title. I just know it when I hear it. But he talks about the seasons. And I'm like, man, that's exactly how life is. Keep talking about it. And
Correct.
that's how it
Correct.
is when I'm listening to your music. It's literally like it's taking me somewhere. I can travel. I love to
Wow.
listen to good music that helps me travel and navigate, you
That means
know?
a lot. That means a lot because that was my objective. And like with Frank, there's so many different connections to this brother. Like first, he did it his way. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that's exactly what Omar Wilson's doing. Second, you know, he changed his style, kept his style, but switched his style and evolved the style that he had so many different times. And I look forward, like this Living Legend is the beginning of the relationship with me and the world and the people. You know what I mean? But I have so many different styles I want the people to experience, but you got to do it in waves and in intervals. Initially, there's a couple things. Me and one of my homeboys before was talking about Frank Sinatra and the way he moved and I think shout out to my fam Kels. He has said like he's like, yo, you gotta do it like Frank Sinatra. You know what I'm saying? So when he threw that out, he was like, okay, boom. And the reason we talked about it
Yeah.
is my main studio in CT is Just Right Studios. And the studio was built in the 60s by an Italian cat by the name of Tootie, God rest his soul, for
Mm.
Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra actually recorded in my studio.
No
It was a private
way.
spot. Yeah, we have a picture of him with a collage of like different. It's a picture of pictures of him in the
Uh-huh.
studio, and it's actually signed by the God too. Frank Sinatra recorded there. Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross. You know what I mean? So that connection is crazy, just on some spiritual essence. And then
Yes.
also the more research that I did on the name, uh, Sam Cooke was called the Black Sinatra because at that time it was really him and Frank. And of course, as a black man, they didn't want to make him as equivalent,
Right.
but they kind of had to because the power of how he was moving. So they referred to him as the Black Sinatra.
That is amazing. And Sam Cooke is actually one of your influences,
One of the biggest influences.
if my memory serves me correctly, right?
Definitely. I
Okay.
cover The Change Gonna Come. I have a
Yeah.
current album that's coming out at the end of this month called Omar Wilson Sings the Classics. And I did two Donny Hathaways. Oh, excuse me. Well, I did Donny Hathaway as well, which is another one of my big influences. But Sam Cooke, I did Sam Cooke Change Gonna Come on the album. I've actually been singing Sam Cooke's Change Gonna Come for years. When I would perform in New York City, I would open up a cappella with the first 8 bars to kind of get people to pay attention to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it evolved that way. Number one, two, I mean, my whole career has been the evolution of finally a change coming, which it is coming right now. And
Yes, it
I
is.
finally get to prove who I am and who I've been, you know, for so long. Because it's like now there's a big, who is Omar Wilson? Where do you come from? I'm like, I've been here the whole time.
No,
And people
I
that
absolutely love your grind.
the whole been here the whole time, man. But you know, everything in this time, and God know what He's doing. And I'm blessed to be in a space right now where I get to show that I am and have been just as much of an A-list artist as anybody out there. It's just having the platform and opportunity to show my greatness. And now the time has come, and I look forward to taking my rightful place, you know, as an A-list artist in this music industry. But it's like I said, that, and hence another reason why I chose the name Black Sinatra, to let people know, because you know some people hear it and they're like, "Who you think you are, calling yourself any something near Frank Sinatra?" You know what I mean? And I'm like,
'Cause,
I
yeah.
have no qualms or no it's easy to show you why. You know what I mean? Like that's the job here right now. It's like Muhammad
Uh-huh.
Ali called himself the greatest before he knocked people out and proved that he was greater than a lot of people. So you have to believe it to achieve it, type thing. So and now I think it's becoming evident that I work hard to not only pay homage to the greats that are out there, but create music that people can digest, feel good about, and they can live with for generations to come.
How do you stay with your own sound and not getting distracted by all of the everything that's going on now? It just seems like the industry is, I don't want to say it's oversaturated with content, but it kind of is. It's a lot going on at one time now. And for me, like, I always take my time to study a person when I'm very interested in their craft. When I first started, I started with producer Focus from Aftermath. I want to say, like, Grammy-winning producer. And for 6 months, I studied him, got to know who he was, where he was from. You can sometimes, believe it or not, you can find out a lot about how a person posts on social media if you pay attention.
Agreed.
And so I just did that for a while, and then I finally reached out. For me and you, I've been following you for years, but somehow I think it's all in its destined time, right?
Wow.
I was like, gosh, this guy is going. Like, you promote yourself, you're out there, you hit the road, you're working out, you're on TV shows. I think I've seen you on a couple shows.
You can think. I mean, you got a couple up on me though. I know I gotta get to Mr. Dr. Oz and Steve Harvey. I'm like, you know what? She the connect. Right? Can I get that love?
Let me tell you, I have no entertainment background whatsoever. I tell my story all the time. I worked as an EMT for over almost 15 years as an EMT and a medical assistant, and I'm so grateful that I did that because I can talk to people. Right. That's what a publicist does. A publicist connects the dots. A publicist create relationships. I mean, we can go all about, you know, press releases and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to talk. You need to be able to communicate. Right. And one of those things, when I'm working with patients, I have to be able to communicate. I have to have empathy. I have to have understanding. I'm meeting people from all over the world, you know, and I want to be able to not disrespect. And I learned all of that through healthcare. I'm so grateful for that experience, you know. And so when I came into entertainment, I just pretty much was all hands on. And I think that was the best experience ever. You know, I'm still reading. I was just reading something on songwriting and publishing. And I'm not even a songwriter, but I believe that if you're in a certain business, you need to definitely master your craft and understand the history of it. Understand, you know what I mean, what this person does and what their job details, because that's about understanding. It makes you better.
And for a multitude of reasons, because, I mean, not only just having the knowledge of what different people do, so they give you a respect of you knowing what you're talking about, but it's also the knowledge so no one can play no games with you and tell you something that they might think you not know until, you know, so it goes both ways. So I appreciate you delving into it like that, and then having the customer service. Like I you know, I did a lot of customer service jobs coming up. You know, I worked whatever I had to work to get it. And like you said, dealing with the people, learning how to deal with different demographics, different walks of life, different types of people, and being able to disarm and connect with whoever you encounter, no matter where they're from or what they're going through. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. But for me, I've always done what I love to do. So it never felt like it was one of those things where it was like a job and, oh my God, I got to get up and go and do this. Like, I was actually literally looking forward to going into the emergency department or going out on the field. When I first started, I mostly stayed in the emergency department. You have to do so much time in the field, and then they, you know, hire you in the emergency department. So I seen a lot of things. I seen a lot of things in my neighborhood. So it almost came desensitized sometimes to the point when with all the gunshots and stuff like that, you know, the gunshot victims. It's sad when I see that now. I clicked on something the other day and literally watched a guy kill about 5 people, and I was like, this is on social media. This is okay for us to see, because, you know, back then they didn't show it actually happening. You didn't see that, you know what I mean, unless you was outside, you know, in real time. No but doubt. I'm talking about like TV and social media. There is no filter, none whatsoever.
I mean, well, you know, they doing that on purpose. You know, that's a whole other conversation. They might shut me off if I start talking about that. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. You know, it's just, I don't know. I just really, my heart just goes out to everyone during this time. That's my point, is that my heart really goes out to everyone during this time, because I know that some people are thriving and we're creating and we're happy, but there's some people that's not. And I just feel like hopefully myself and my guests can just be that light for those.
That's what we're here for, though. That's and see, but the thing is, with the people that are not thriving, feel like they can't, feel like they're stuck, or there's no way out. It's the connection with me, it's the connection with you. And when they know and delve into your story and they feel your spirit and say, you know what, she know what time it is. And it's not just talking about it just to say it. Like, you done been through it and you made your way out.
Right.
So that is our job. I've always known that was my job. You know what I mean? Like, even getting into this music, it wasn't to be no star or to make people love me. You know what I mean? Whether I got $1 or $1 billion, I know how to receive love and get love. It was always to inspire and try to show people that I'm no different than you. You know what I'm saying? I just chose to never give up, always go hard, and never take no for an answer. And these are the results of it.
I think that a man with substance, and a woman as well, go a long way. Money, believe it or not, we talk about, sometimes people don't like to talk about money, and there's people that like to talk about it. But that doesn't sustain you when real life happens.
Nah. Well, that's why, like, part of this pandemic, you don't get me wrong. I want financial freedom. I want all the amenities that I could have. You know what I'm saying?
You'll get it.
But at the end of the day, it's what you said. I've also seen a dude crying in a Bentley with a presidential rollie on. I've seen the cat spend 20 grand at the bar and everybody just drunk up the bottles and kept it moving. So, you know what I mean? This money only amplifies who you are, only puts a magnification on who you really are, period. So if you real, money gonna make you real. If you a sucker, you're just gonna be a sucker with money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed that I got my chance, even though it's been a grind in 3 halves, to go through without having that ultimate bread. So I didn't make some mistakes based on emotion, vengeance, or so forth that could have cost me everything. Now, you know, it don't matter what I acquire, I'll be able to still be who I am right now, forever.
Let's take it back a little bit. I know you as your man of a great career, but tell me, how was it growing up in Norwalk?
I mean, I left Norwalk at 17. I had my 18. I was turning 18. I had my first child when I was 17.
Okay.
So it went from singing in church from 6 to 16, 15, 16, to starting to be a knucklehead, running the streets, doing my little crazy thing. And in my era, everybody was like smoking dust. Like, everybody smoked dust, angel dust. And that wasn't, of course, wasn't my thing. So it was like either that or just a normal thing, robbing, stealing. Like, it was just a whole bunch of foolishness going on. So once I had my daughter, I remember I left the day after her first birthday to start my journey with this music, because it was too much. And really, to be honest, at that time, it was a voice in my head telling me I needed to go. Now I know it was God, but
right.
I couldn't understand why I kept hearing you need to make a move, but it was too much going on at that time that was putting my life in detrimental situations. Even though I was always a smart dude, you know what I mean? I was never fool and did stuff on the whim. It's, the environment will catch you up one way or another if you keep moving the right way. So I ended up moving to North Carolina, and I joined a rap group, which consists of 3 of my other first cousins. And they were doing some stuff, and they had some things jumping off, and they wanted me to move down to North Carolina to start the career. And that's what really pulled me away from all the foolishness and gave me the ability to focus on what my greatness was. And then, of course, that journey, I could talk about that for the next 30 days. I went from North Carolina to Atlanta to Cali, and then, struggling artist, still doing whatever you got to do to survive. And, and it just taught me a lot, man. It taught me a lot about different living in different places and seeing how things are different but the same, and knowing that, I had an opportunity when I was at my worst sleeping on floors, living in cars, being homeless, hotels for 6-7 months. We ain't really had nowhere to stay. I could have came back home. I remember my mom's calling me like, I think she felt it in her gut, like, yo, you are not living right. And I'm like, but
you had to do what you had to
if
do.
I come back, I do what I
You
gotta
can't
do.
come back. Yeah.
And plus, my older cousin was like, yo, you want to go back home? Go.
You can't go
But if you
back.
go, you ain't coming back.
You can't go back.
So you either sit here, you either go through the struggle and live crazy like this until we figure it out, or go ahead, go back home with the quitters.
I appreciate you sharing that with me, because a lot of times we don't want to be vulnerable when it comes to the audience, so to speak, to tell that story of the in-between, because they can see the amazing photos that you take. You definitely have a great fashion sense.
I appreciate that.
That's the reason why I put this on, because I said, well, I'm talking on for today, so I'm going to step it up a little bit.
Well, you look ravishing. You look amazing.
Because I never seen you.
Word up.
I always see you in your game, so I was like, I'm gonna have to bring it.
That's what comes from coming from the dirt and the trenches. You like, man, I want to clean up every time I get a chance to clean. I'm cleaning up. You know,
and I'm quarantining.
Yeah, quarantining and cleaning. Yeah.
Like, get dressed, but it feel good though.
Hey man, I think the part of my superpower and the part that a lot of so-called stars
superpower, I love it.
Are missing out on is showing their Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I've been blessed to meet some of the most powerful music people on the planet. Justin Timberlake on down. I was in Aftermath. I was blessed to meet Mike Lynn, and Mike Lynn, that's Dr. Dre's manager. I don't know what he was then.
Right.
You know what I mean? All the way on down. So I think where people forget is the majority of people ain't living that life. So they need to have some type of connect to what is real. And remember, Clark Kent was Superman.
Right.
He just dressed different.
I get excited because I absolutely love watching like Marvel movies and stuff.
That's my favorite thing.
I love it.
Superhero thing is my thing. I think I'm Wolverine. That was always who I was.
I believe my superpower is the law of attraction. Like, I can literally think about somebody that I want to meet, and then I just find my way to make it happen.
Right. My superpower is showing people that I'm flawed, just like them.
Yeah.
I go through stuff just like them.
I'm
really no different. I just had the tenacity and the strength and the faith to pull out what makes me special, what gives me my superpower. And that's my objective. I want to show people that, dang, I remember Omar Wilson, he had nothing, like literally nothing. And now he worth 500 mil on his way.
Right. Exactly.
But still the same dude that'll see an old lady taking her garbage out and stop in the Bentley and get out and take the garbage out for her. And I think, once again, that's what so many stars are missing. Because they really are just like us. Because when I meet people, I'm like, okay, yeah, jewels, cars, clothes. But come on, man, stop playing, man.
We have the dopest conversations, my friends in the music biz, outside of this platform. Right. And I'm like, wouldn't that be kind of dope if I brought some of that conversation to the people? Because I came from Cleveland. I've been through a whole lot, and I say my superpower is to connect, because sometimes people want to know not just what you do, but how did you get there? Yep. Like, wow, it's possible. I remember you growing up on my street. Like, wow, are you doing that? That's how it felt for me sitting across from Steve Harvey, because he's from Cleveland, Ohio. And I said, wow, now, okay, I'm sitting up here. I'm about to make the best of these few minutes that he has given me. When he sent his staff away to talk to me, I'm like, I'm about to take this all in and do something with it.
That's amazing. And like you said, you come from a brother that started out, and now, you know what I mean, is where he wanted to be times 10.
You can do it.
You can definitely do it. It's like I said, it's just connecting with people like yourself. And the more I meet so-called stars, the more I understand, like, okay,
Everybody has a position to play, though.
Everybody got a position to play, but at the end of the day, no matter what you acquire or how much you get, you're still a human being.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here, I think, to show the people that they can be stars, and show the stars that they still people.
Like bring them back. Yeah.
Bring them back. and who can do that other than Frank Sinatra and the Black Sinatra?
Oh man, Frank Sinatra. What about, I know that you've done a lot, you be on your performing thing. So what is like one of those favorite songs that you love to perform?
I think Change Gonna Come, because it's the ultimate expression of what my journey has been. You know what I mean? And finally, I can finally see the wheels turning of change. And I've been waiting on it for so long. It's like graduating from the biggest Ivy League college, magna cum laude, summa cum laude, whatever. And then I go to get my transcript, my diploma, and they don't got it. And for the past 15 years, I'm going to get some high-level jobs, and they're like, yo, you ain't got no diploma, you ain't got no degree. I'm like, I do, I did it. and finally, they finally finding my transcripts to show that everything I said I was, I am. But sometimes, most people want to see the paper, unfortunately.
They sure do. They want to see the paper.
So here's the paper. Now let me do what I do.
They want to see the paper. What about when you go into the studio? Take me into what that creative process looks like.
Man, the studio was a haven, and I'm blessed that my studio, Just Right Studios, we have 4 rooms in the studio, and we have a big live room. Like we just had a orchestra in there a couple months back, and they had, I think, about 210-piece band, and they fit in there comfortably. So to finally be in an environment where I know I could be comfortable, I can give everything that I am as an artist, I could take my time and do me. The love is it runs through the building. You know what I'm saying? The camaraderie is everything there. So shout out to all them brothers. It's just a wonderful process. Sometimes I come in with a song done. Sometimes I might make a beat on the spot. It might be a song that I had that they reproduce for now. It's just so many different ways to the process. That's what's so wonderful about it, because every time you go into the studio, there's a different way of doing it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like making love. You know what I'm saying? It's never the same. There's always a twist. There's always, even if it's a little twist, it's a little different twist to it. You know what I mean? So that's what music is to me.
That is that is so dope. You went from singing in church to
singing in church to rap and back to singing.
Okay, because I thought I seen rap in between there. How did you make that transition? I mean, I love all kinds of music.
Right.
Well, I love music.
I sung from 6 to 16. My cousins had a rap group. They're in North Carolina, in the Midwest too, called Lost Souls.
Okay.
So the Lost Souls, at that time, we had a producer that, Sunshine Anderson. You've ever heard of Sunshine Anderson, R&B singer. She started out on our first album, Lost Souls. So they had the majority of the album done. I was running around Norwalk, Stanford, Bridgeport, doing my rap thing. And my cousins, heard about me through the grapevine, came back up for Thanksgiving one time, and it was like, yo, man, we want you to do a record. So I went down to North Carolina to do one record with them, and the producer and the studio and the vibe was so crazy. It was like, yo, man, we need you to join the group and move with us. I think this is gonna be the final piece that we needed to really solidify ourselves as a major group in the industry. So went down there, and that's when I moved. I moved from the day after my daughter's first birthday, which is still the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I love mine. But I knew it was the best opportunity I could give her to have an unfair financial advantage in this world. So we went to North Carolina, we did our thing, went through some stuff for a while. The producer we was dealing with ended up moving to Cali and becoming a pretty big producer. And, sometimes, people leave you for dead a little bit. But
that's how the game goes. That's the part. That's another right.
It's all good. It's all good. That same producer's watching me right now. So anyway, So after he left, the cat that was producing was writing a lot of the hooks. So he bounced. We was doing our own thing, and then I started writing hooks for the rap group. The rap group ended up disbanding a little bit, and me and one of my cousins continued the group movement, and we moved back to Connecticut, and we started performing in New York. And that's when, you know, with June Archer, when he had the bar with no name, it would be me and my cousin performing there. We called ourselves the Souls at that time. So I started writing hooks for our rap songs. And then after writing hooks for our rap songs, I think the first song I wrote was over a Nas beat. It was "You're the Man." That back here. So I wrote a song over that. I started writing a couple songs over rap beats, and then I would sing one full song with our rap set. And slowly but surely, I started getting a little name for singing, and people were like, "Yo, man, you sing, man, you dope." I'm like, "Nah, not just, you know what I mean?
Just playing around.
I'm just doing the hooks, and you know what I mean?" And I would keep getting, I'm like, "Nah, yo, you sing." So after I started singing the one song with our rap set, and it started kind of taking prevalence over it, Cuz came to me and was like, "Look, man, we're going to end the group." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "We're going to end the group. Oh, you need to sing." And initially, I got into music because of their inspiration. And I'm a rider. So I'm like, "Nah, man, I ain't going to. It's gang, man. We together forever. I know we're struggling, but we're going to get there." He's like, "No, I'm going to fall back, and I'm going to promote you singing." And shout out to my brother, my cousin Tiz and Cino and Trap. You know what I mean? Those were the three other cats on the Lost Souls. And actually, we're family. Like, our mothers are sisters. You know what I'm saying? And my cousin Tiz, his father is the brother. First cousins. You know what I mean? So, and I was the youngest. And when they gave up their career and their dream to see me flourish, that was the initial, no one will ever be able to stop me. You know
I was wondering how you made that transition, because I'm like, he went from singing, here this is rap and hip hop. How did he do?
So I started out when I started singing, I was singing over rap beats, and my penmanship was still aggressive. Like, I still wasn't writing no love song. I was still talking about the hood, what I was going through, situations, you know, what I saw, kind of what Tupac did. It was that type of vibe. It's one of my favorite songwriters as well.
Wow.
So I would sing at rap venues in the city because I didn't know any R&B spots. We was doing rap. And it would be the grimiest street hood dudes that would be like, "Yo, man, I always wanted to sing, and we need somebody like you, like a real lion, alpha male man that's singing." So, you know, as I evolved, I think I was blessed to have an opportunity to perform at the Apollo through Maria Davis. Maria Davis, I love you, Maria. She was one of the most prominent showcase promoters out in New York City. She had a showcase. Back then, she had a showcase with Malik Yoba that they had called. It was at Soul Cafe. That's how long I've been rocking. You know,
wow, you've been at this. Oh, yeah, of course it's your time.
Okay, so boom. So she gave me the
put in the work.
I actually auditioned for the Apollo. They knocked me off, and then they had a slot that they needed to fill for a soul singer. And Maria had connections. Once again, it's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's who will vouch for you in this game. Who will vouch for you is everything. So she vouched for me. I got in, got the opportunity, and I had to sing Donny Hathaway, A Song for You. So when I sung Donny Hathaway, I started doing some research on his music. And then come to find out, Donny Hathaway was on one of the records for The Chronic, Little Ghetto Boy. And I remember Little Ghetto Boy from, you know, The Chronic. And then come to find out it was Donny Hathaway that sung that. So I heard the song and I'm like, yo, this is me. This is all I want to write is Little
another
Ghetto
inspiration Boy. Of yours.
But and Donny Hathaway is also one of the artists on my classic album. So then I heard I Love You More Than You'll Ever Know. And that blew my mind because it was so aggressive, but it was still a love song about how much he loved his girl and how bad he felt for treating her bad. And if I hurt you, I hurt myself. And it was so emotional to me. So I was like, okay, I can write love songs. And it's not soft to write about love and how you feel and what you're going through and, you know what I mean, telling your girl, I love you. And that's what kind of evolved Omar Wilson into the perspective. Because for a long time, I was like, I'm not singing love songs. I'm going to sing about the world and what's going on in the world. There's so many issues to deal with other than love. There's too much going on. I'm singing about that. But I realized that, like, you know what Bob Marley said, man, love is all we need. It is the innermost, it's the nucleus of how to create peace, love, and togetherness. And I went on that journey of how to fuse that into my music. And that's why you have songs like The Groove and The One and Love Song and records like that now, because I finally realized what my obligation is to music, to R&B, to soul music, especially when God gave me the voice to be able to sing and to be able to sing renditions of artists that people don't sing. Like, people don't sing James Brown. They don't sing Teddy Pendergrass. They don't sing David Ruffin, Bobby Womack for a reason, because a lot of people can't do it. And God gave me the ability to do it. And I'm going to overdo it now.
That was so interesting you just said that, because I was like, wow, you're literally taking those before us and keeping their spirits alive through your voice and your frequency and your sound and your energy. I can go on and on. I'm so into science. I love science.
Right, me too. But okay, it is all frequency and energy. Like they say, they say life is like a guitar strings. We all moving in the same motion. We all moving the same way, but we're on different frequencies.
We are definitely on different frequencies.
So depending on how you vibrate is depending on how the attraction of the people, the vibration of the attraction of the people you're dealing with. I work hard to vibrate on the highest level that there is, but still never forgetting that low level. You know what I mean? So you always stay connected with every string. You know, on the guitar.
It's definitely there. I think I hit a low vibration when I let fear control me. For a long time, I was afraid of my success. You know, some people are afraid of hearing no. I didn't hear no very much in the business. I don't want to say that I'm lucky, because it's definitely been a ridiculous grind. Right. But I had to literally find a way to not do that, because fear will leave you stuck. Fear will leave you not progressing. Fear will leave you not being able to evolve and all of those things. So have you ever felt a time, I know we have a minute left, but have you ever felt a time where you were afraid to do something?
No. Most of my thing is I've been dealing with vengeance and the rage of knowing that there's been times in my life where I know people were just trying to block me for no reason other than they knew I would accomplish the goal. Mm-hmm. Okay, they say the greatest test is how you handle people that mishandled you. So for me, it was the polar opposite, which is still the same thing, because rage and anger will drive you mad and crazy and make you miss blessings like this and not be able to talk to people. I was at a point for a minute where I was like, man, everybody gonna get it. And everybody's trying to shiesty, backstab, front stab, 30s.
We got 30 seconds.
Me against the world, you know what I mean? But I had to come back around to understanding that wasn't the case, and now I have a balanced understanding of it. And now I use that not as a thing that's gonna hold me back, but it's moving me forward. So salute to you for finding your balance as well.
Thank you.
You know, self-love will definitely put you in a perspective where you won't fear rejection or whatever, because as long as God got your back, you can move forward.
Look, somebody spreading rumors that Omar died. I had to come and see for myself. 5 seconds. Yeah. It has been fun.